The Giants' debut on Monday Night Football began in 1970 on a freezing night in Philadelphia against their arch rivals, the Eagles. With Big Blue riding a 6-game win streak, quarterback Fran Tarkington would get things started on the right foot, connecting with the trusty Tucker Fredrickson for a big catch and run, which paved the way for a Ron Johnson touchdown in the second quarter. But the Giants would see their halftime lead quickly disappear as the result of a muffed punt. Philadelphia recovered in scoring position and capitalized off the turnover with Norm Snead connecting on a 1-yard touchdown pass to Fred Hill. Snead continued to pick the Giants' defense apart all night long. And a 1-yard rushing touchdown in the fourth quarter gave the Eagles the lead for good. Scrambling Fran Tarkington tried to mount a Giants comeback late in the game, but it just wasn't in the cards for Big Blue on this Monday night. As the clock struck midnight, the Giants' win streak came to an end, and the Eagles won the game by a score of 23-20. In 1971, following his legendary 13-year playing career with the Giants, Frank Gifford would take over as one of the first broadcasters of Monday Night Football.
As Frank Gifford, halfback, I spent 12 wonderful years with the New York Giants, many of those years winding up in championship games. Now, as Frank Gifford, sportscaster, I play an entirely different position.
I had put my heart and soul into broadcasting and was really enjoying it. And I was the first local sports anchor. It was fun being a first. I really did love it.
Gifford would be on the call the following season when the Giants looked for redemption on Monday night, facing the Eagles once again.
Then in Philadelphia, before a Monday night national television audience, the team began to gel. Every time the Eagles threatened, the defense cut them down. Meanwhile, the New York offense was cutting down some records as Ron Johnson scored 4 touchdowns for an all-time Giants mark. He also rushed for 124 yards, and his combined running and receiving attempts totaled an NFL record 41. The 27-12 win was a big one, and it sent the Giants on their way.
In the Giants' championship season of 1986, Big Blue traveled to San Francisco for a Week 13 matchup against the 49ers on Monday Night Football. Trailing 17-0 in the second half, New York would mount a legendary comeback fueled by this historic play.
Complete to Bavaro, down to the 35, still on his feet to the 30, down to the 25, down to the 20. He's got 4 men on his back and gets down to the 17.
The only thing that was going through my mind was, why haven't they tackled me yet? Because Ronnie Lott was one of the first guys to hit me.
And the tight end fights his way inside the 30, and a single effort to the 18-yard line, a solitary effort by Bavaro.
He was a guy that was sort of the standard bearer for the attitude of the team.
That play epitomizes how tough Mark was and how we wanted to be as a team.
This is classic and vintage Bavaro. This is what he does the best. He is just one tough cookie. He just carries 49ers all the way inside the 20, carried them for 10 yards to get the first down and set up a possible Giant score.
And he did it on national TV, you know, just an unbelievable player. You know, it's still the signature play of that game is that.
If there's ever one play that a player will ever be noted for, I think that is the signature play for Mark Bavaro. But also it signified that we had a pretty doggone potent offense that could get the job done.
Phil Simms threw 3 touchdowns in the third quarter, and the Giants shut out the Niners in the second half, winning the game by a score of 21-17. The rivalry would be fueled even further during the 1990 regular season when the Giants traveled to San Francisco to face the 49ers on Monday Night Football. San Francisco had the NFC's top-ranked offense, but the Big Blue Wrecking Crew was up to the task, throttling the 49ers running game with ferocious tackling and holding quarterback Joe Montana to 153 yards on 12 of 29 passing, his worst performance of the season. Late in the second quarter, San Francisco mounted their only scoring drive of the game, sparked by two big plays, a 38-yard reception by Roger Craig and a 23-yard touchdown pass to John Taylor that gave the Niners a 7-3 halftime lead. In the second half, the Giants mounted several scoring threats of their own. Down by 4 in the final minutes, the Giants had a 1st and goal at the 9-yard line, but were ultimately denied entrance to the end zone. The 7-3 loss was the lowest scoring game in the NFL that season, and the battle ended with a heated altercation between Phil Simms and Ronnie Lott.
That was an incredible, incredible game physically. It was Muhammad Ali and Ken Norton. When it's over, you think, my God, we either want to ever fight again. I thought it was that tough. But what it probably did is let Ronnie Lott bring out his true feelings for me. And that's okay, I don't care. That's one of those times I left there, I said, well, we'll see them in the playoffs.
Ronnie Lott was supposed to have been the bad boy of all bad boys and had the respect, but when to see Sam go after him the way he did, man, it just made us say we can't wait to play these guys again.
The Giants would get their redemption later that season, beating the 49ers in the 1990 NFC Championship game en route to capturing their second Vince Lombardi trophy. Following their victory in Super Bowl 25, the defending champion New York Giants would open up the 1991 season at home on Monday Night Football against their rivals, the San Francisco 49ers. After beating out Phil Simms for the starting quarterback position in training camp, Jeff Hostetler would once again rise to the occasion on prime time, throwing for 228 yards on the night. Super Bowl MVP Otis Anderson picked up right where he left off with a 5-yard touchdown run in the second half. But the Giants still trailed the Niners late in the fourth quarter, and they would look to Matt Barr, their trusty field goal kicker, once again.
Bad snap, he gets it up though, it is good!
Big Blue's 1990 Super Bowl winning season will forever live in the annals of Giants history. But as training camp got underway, Bill Parcells' star linebacker Lawrence Taylor was not in attendance due to a contract dispute. LT would end his holdout, finally signing with the team just before the start of the regular season. But with only 3 days of prep time until the season opener on Monday Night Football, many wondered if Taylor would be ready to play. The Giants hosted their bitter rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles, led by their dynamic quarterback Randall Cunningham and one of the league's most potent offenses. But the Big Blue Wrecking Crew would be up to the challenge as number 56 had a game for the ages, sacking Cunningham 3 times on the night.
There's not a doubt in my mind, Lawrence Taylor is the best defensive football player I ever saw. He was the most game-changing defensive player I think that ever played football.
Phil Simms threw for 150 yards on the night and 2 scores, a 41-yard bomb to Mark Ingram, and this 12-yard pass to the Giants' first-round draft pick, rookie running back Rodney Hampton, who notched his first career NFL touchdown. New York won the season opener, beating the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 27-20. In 1994, the Giants would travel to Dallas for a Monday night showdown against the Cowboys, where tempers would flare after a Hail Mary at the end of the first half.
That's interference. And there's a fight on the field here before we go to a break, as all of a sudden this breaks out.
Look out, look at this. That's Michael Irvin, the Cowboy receiver, and that is where the fight starts. Well, this isn't settled yet.
Five years later, in Week 6 of the 1999 season, having never beaten the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, Big Blue would look to settle the score.
High driving kick. He doesn't worry about the wind. Barber at his own 15. Tiki makes one man miss at the 20, outside to the 25. Tiki up to the 30, to the 40, has to be going, down the left sideline, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20. He's going to score! 5, touchdown Tiki Barber!
85 yards by Tiki, who's been on fire tonight in all areas, rushing, catching the ball, and now punt return.
Tiki Barber, an 85-yard punt return, and with 7:50 to go, the Giants have a 9-3 lead.
Barber's amazing punt return would give the Giants the momentum in the fourth quarter, but their lead would be short-lived as the Cowboys answered right back.
One comes in motion to the near side. They give for Smith into the line. Touchdown untouched. And the Dallas Cowboys go 68 yards in 7 plays, and Dallas is an extra point away from tying this ball game.
With the score tied late in the game, quarterback Kent Graham would lead a Giants drive, connecting once again with his versatile back, Tiki Barber.
Graham back in the pocket, swings it in the flat, wide open Barber, midfield to the Cowboy 40, still on his feet, to the 35-30. There goes Tiki down the right sideline, 10-5, knocked out at the 4.
Oh, Tiki Barber, 55 yards.
The big catch and run play set up Giants kicker Brad Del Riso for a 22-yard field goal attempt to win the game.
Maynard to hold, 5 seconds to go, game tied at 10. Good snap, Maynard gets it down, the kick on its way, and it is good! 13-10 the final score as the Giants beat the Cowboys.
The Giants' first road game of 2005 was scheduled to be in New Orleans, but after the city was flooded from Hurricane Katrina, the matchup would be relocated to Giants Stadium for a Monday Night Football showdown against the Saints. Tiki Barber looked right at home, scoring 2 touchdowns in the first half.
Draw play Barber, runs right, cuts right, works his way outside, 5, touchdown Tiki Barber!
On the other side of the ball, the Giants' defense would dominate with 6 takeaways on the night.
Guns one left, and it's intercepted by Carlos Evans on the right sideline, right out of bounds. Brooks in a shotgun, under pressure, gets sacked at the 47-yard line.
That's the way, D! That's the way you pick it up!
In Big Blue's historic 2007 season, the Giants traveled to Atlanta in Week 6 for a Monday Night Football matchup against the Falcons. Eli Manning would give New York the early advantage.
Manning to throw into the end zone, touchdown Amani Toomer, and the Giants have the lead with 5:32 to go in the first.
A Jarius Norwood 67-yard touchdown run put the Falcons back in front.
Norwood taking it the distance, touchdown!
But the Giants would counter on the very next drive.
Manning stops and throws a rocket. Beating it down, yes. Toomer at the 1.
Capped off by this Reuben Jones 1-yard score.
Handoff Jones, runs left, stood up, and fights his way into the end zone for the touchdown. Power running by Reuben Jones.
In the second quarter, Eli Manning would put the Giants ahead for good, connecting with one of his favorite targets.
Manning back, looking downfield. Plaxico Burress has a step to the 5. Touchdown, Plaxico Burress. Oh, baby, what a pass by Manning. 43 yards.
As the Giants beat the Falcons by a score of 31-10. Their 4th straight victory as the team went on to win the ultimate prize that season, the Super Bowl. In the 2010 season, the Giants were scheduled to play at Minnesota in Week 13. But when the Metrodome ceiling collapsed under the weight of 17 inches of snow from a recent storm, the Giants' travel plans changed. The team flew to Detroit, where the game was played on Monday Night Football against the Vikings. The Giants would show no signs of jet lag, though, as their ground game pounded the Vikings all night.
Handoff Jacobs, bounces it left to the outside, Jacobs to the 20, down the left sideline 30, up to the 40, across midfield, needs a block to the 40, 35-30, tripped up at the 20, keeps his feet and finally tackled. Brandon Jacobs with the longest run of his career, 73 yards. Manning handoff Jacobs, into the end zone, touchdown Giants. Manning out of the gun, steps up, throws it to the end zone for Boss. Did he make the catch? Yes, touchdown!
Running back Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw would each run for over 100 yards and a touchdown to carry New York to victory.
Slips through a hole and he's gone. 35-30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown Ahmad Bradshaw.
In Big Blue's historic 2011 season, the Giants would play their home opener at MetLife Stadium, where they honored the 25th anniversary of their 1986 Super Bowl winning team. The tribute was followed by a battle with the St. Louis Rams on Monday Night Football.
First and goal, Giants. Handoff, Jacobs, runs left to the 5, to the goal line, touchdown, standing up. Manning back, throws left for Nix, he's got a touchdown. Hakeem Nicks made a spectacular catch.
Manning looks end zone on the post for Dominic Hickson. Bobbles the ball and then makes the catch for the touchdown. Dominic Hickson juggled it as he went to the ground.
Great job by Hickson, great concentration, Paul. He looked that ball all the way in. That's a great, tough play by the young receiver.
Bradford under pressure, he'll get sacked. Tuck gets his second sack tonight. Hit, drop, didn't get there. Lost some yardage.
This defense is playing lights out.
So now it's 3rd and 8. Bradford, little screen. That's a lateral. That ball's behind him. It's loose. Picked up by the Giants. Foley's got it. Running down the right sideline. To the 30, to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown Giants. As the Giants get their first win of the season.
In August of 2015, Big Blue said goodbye to one of their most iconic figures when the legendary Giant and longtime Monday Night Football commentator Frank Gifford passed away at the age of 84.
I loved Frank. For 11 years, I got to stand next to Frank Gifford. Never lost sight of the fact that I was standing next to television history. Just a gentleman, a nice man, and we had a lot of good times together. We had a lot of fun together. Frank Gifford was just a dear man.
In 2018, the Giants traveled to San Francisco for a Week 10 matchup with the 49ers on Monday Night Football. In a vintage performance, Eli Manning would look to rally the team, trailing the Niners by 3 points late in the game.
Eli Manning, 35 career fourth quarter comebacks in the regular season. 2nd and 10 for the Giant 45, trailing by 3. Manning drops back to throw. Steps up, deep ball down the right sideline. There's Ingram at midfield. He takes it, he's back to throw. He sidearms it over the middle. Caught by Barkley on the run. 20, breaks right to the 15. Barkley to the 10 and shoved out of bounds. Niners lead at 23-20. We're down to a minute to go. Manning back to throw. He looks left, he throws left. Caught for the touchdown by Sterling Shepard. The Giants, they get a come-from-behind drive from Eli Manning, and the Giants win the ball game 27-23. Wow.
Hey Giants fans, Saquon Barkley here. You want to see more videos? Subscribe below.